Hello, welcome to Retail Field Report. I'm Ann Mazinga. We are live from CommerceNext in New York City, and I'm so excited to bring you loads of coverage here with brands and retailers who are going to be here speaking at the show. All of this is made possible thanks to the man sitting next to me here from Zilker Trail. Zilker Trail are digital consultants who turn digital products into measurable business growth. To find out how Zilker Trail has helped brands like Nespresso, Skechers, and so many more, you can head to getzilker.com. That's GETZILKER.com. Or you could just reach out to our first guest here today, kicking off our coverage of CommerceNext, and that is Brian Cahak, the co-founder and managing partner of Zilker Trail. That was a mouthful. Brian, welcome to Retail Field Report. How are you?
Thank you, Ann. It's very good to see you.
Yeah, well, let's start out. Our audience may be new to Zilker Trail, so maybe kick us off with all that you do. I tried to do my best pitch.
You did a good job.
But I feel like you're the person that we should hear from directly for
Thank you. Yeah, so Zilker Trail is really, in essence, we build and optimize digital products and digital experiences. But our real secret sauce is that we've honed over the years, really focused on those mid-market scale-up brands.
Okay.
Where our capabilities are mirror what you would see out there, but we have some real, we orchestrate a lot of capabilities, and then we have this whole problem-first methodology that we use that really drives outcomes. So that's really our our differentiator.
Which feels pretty important right now, at least for the last 3 weeks that I've been traveling around the world talking to different retailers. Problem-first approaches seem to be the right way. Is that consistent with what you've seen with some of the people that you've been working with?
Yes, and we've really honed it over, really 20 years in digital, because it helps you not only win a lot higher than the typical win rate, but it also helps you win more consistently over time. So the compounding effect of that winning is very real and really stacks up over time. So that's what we've really operationalized.
Well, let's get into some specific detail here, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about why e-commerce brands, why is it so important for them to get help from you in order to continue to be able to, be agile, I guess, in the changing commerce landscape right now?
Yeah, exactly. You hit on those, especially in this moment. Here we are in the midsummer, and we're approaching Q3, and it's always high pressure to grow, to deliver outcomes heading into Q4. And so, at the end of the day, they have to be super efficient. There's only so many swings that they can actually take. So how do you know which problems to solve, which problems should you solve? So that's what we really operationalize then, is how do you focus on outcomes? And especially in this era of AI, where at this conference there's 1,000 different AI solutions, and which ones do you think about? And so it's just a really hard, complex, moving landscape. So this approach really helps them think about how do I drive value and reverse engineer my actions from there.
Okay, so what is the thing that these, I met you through a friend who works at a very rapidly scaling specialty apparel retailer, and I know what she came to you about, but what are some of the other brands coming to you? What's the problem that they're trying to solve? Would you say, is it AI, learning how to figure out how to use that in the right use cases? Is it, optimizing checkout? What are the things that they're trying to figure out right now that seem most pressing?
Well, your friend really has very similar needs to the other ones. Is ultimately the goal that they're accountable for as senior executives is they have to deliver growth to the board.
Okay.
But the problem is there's, it'd be nice if there was one or two simple little things, but there's always a myriad, and there's always so there's not a silver bullet answer, but there's not just one or two little things they have to do.
Okay.
So there's tech debt, there's a lot of organizational ways of working that have got very inefficient over time. There's a lot of data mess that they have to clean up. And so there's a lot of different things that collectively make it really hard for them to deploy the right solutions and deploy them fast enough.
Right.
And so then we meet them where they are, help triage and surface the ones that are most worth solving, and then act against those. So it's always there's a finite set, but it's always different weightings for every client, but it is a similar universe.
So am I right in saying that you would that maybe they're coming at it with a mountain of problems or a mountain of things that, or maybe the reverse, like they have one thing that they think they're trying to solve, like we want to get to TikTok Shop and we can't do it.
Yes.
And are you coming in then and you're having to do that triage, that assessment of tech debt? Like, give me an example of what that looks like when you're coming on board.
Yeah. So there's always this goal of like they have to drive outcomes fast. And then when you get into the problem sets, usually they'll state, oh, we think this is the core problem.
Yeah.
But then when you get in and triage, there's usually a lot of similar related. So for example, one of our clients, if they had to grow significantly year over year, they had to deliver $100 million of incremental growth, which is a very significant number for them. And the stated problem was that we thought that the UX, there was gaps in the UX that was limiting. But really, when you got under the hood, yes, there was gaps in the UX that were limiting, but there was organizational processes that caused those gaps. There was technologies under the hood that were not properly implemented or helping, like, in causing those gaps to be worse.
Okay.
And so we had to like triage all of that, stack it, create the roadmap based on the problems, and then start executing. The other thing they struggle with is, it's a very common struggle on e-commerce brands, is strategy and delivery gets meshed together, and therefore strategy becomes kind of diluted and delivery is slow. And both of those are killers. So we end up, one of the core things we did for them, and we tend to do often, is separate out like this problem-centric strategy from very efficient, like high velocity delivery. So we win more and then we win more often. That's usually, I would say, the core thing we're doing for digital product, digital experiences, but then all the ancillary things around it naturally fall into the same process, the kind of operating system as we call it.
So you're talking about winning. I'm curious how winning is measured now in some of these brands that you've been working with.
Yeah.
Like, how are brands thinking about success metrics, and how should they be thinking about success metrics for today's commerce landscape?
That's a $100 question. That's a great question. So it's always tricky. So I would say like the number one thing they usually come to us with is like what I'll call like a lagging indicator, a financial metric. We have to deliver revenue growth, or we have to deliver EBITDA growth. But the problem is like that by itself is kind of very myopic. It's hard to action specifically against that. So what we end up doing is helping them think about like a measurement system. Like this whole thing that we provide is really the system to operate in, including like the measurement. So we help them think about like what are the leading indicators on the experience that can help tell them they're on the right track, as well as like balancing that with the leading indicators. And there's like this whole measurement framework and system we help them implement to make sure you're really tracking all the right things, not just one little thing.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is people kind of move left to right over time, and that also kills them. So how do we kind of help create the system and stay rigorous about the system over time? You know.
How much is culture playing into this?
So yeah.
And like leadership being on board with the deliverables that you're trying to say.
Yeah. So it really is very helpful when we have like an executive champion who's really on board and really wants to see this through, because a lot of times kind of what got them into a tricky spot in the first place was, you know, sometimes it's changing leadership or changing directions, and people just are unsure of what good even looks like. I mean, they know academically, but on the ground in this moment, what are we supposed to be doing and why are we doing it can get really foggy.
Yeah.
So culture plays a critical role, because the downstream implications, people feel confused, and therefore they're not as engaged or not their best selves. So if we can kind of clear up the why and the North Star, then we can help them get more energized and committed and engaged to drive that value over time.
And help those working teams manage up, I imagine, to like one set
because
of
they get
goals.
fatigued. There's a lot of kind of like fatigue about shifting directions and what does good look like, and shifting leadership and changing priorities. And so it's just hard to know what to go do at any given moment that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So by helping like clear a lot of that air, people get re-energized, and that's one of the best parts of the job, frankly.
Well, I was just going to close out with that. Like, what are you most proud of? Zilker Trails had a phenomenal year. What are you most excited about or proud of as you look back on the half of the year so far?
Yeah, I think what I'm most proud of is when we delivered significant wins for a client, that we really delivered north of $50 million worth of wins within 6 months. And why is that valuable? Because like there's wins across the board. The C-suite is much happier, you know, with our executive buyer, and then the team feels much aligned. They actually more bought into the broader agenda, and I feel like what we're doing really matters. I use this word all the time about impact, and I always say like when I do this, I really want to have impact, not just on the financial result, but on the humans. And it's wonderful when we deliver that kind of result because you can see the humans are happier, carry themselves prouder, are more open to change and moving faster, and you really feel like it matters. And like I said, I always say we're not curing cancer, I know that, but I feel like if I can have real impact on their lives and on success, and you feel like what you're doing matters.
Well, and that all trickles down to the customer and what their experience is with the brand
exactly.
too. So I think that
and it's a virtuous cycle.
100%,
Exactly.
100%. Well, Brian, thank you so much for helping us bring you all the interviews here at CommerceNext 2026. If people want to get in touch with you, they want to ask you some questions, they're curious, if they want to know where the Zilker Trail is, how do they do that?
Easy to find. I'm on LinkedIn. There's only 2 of us in the world, so I'm the one that's related to Zilker Trail. Very easy to find. You can email me at brian@getzilker.com is the easy one, or just find me on LinkedIn, or find me through Anne, who's a wonderful partner.
Yes, absolutely.
Happy to help.
All right, well, thank you so much. Stay tuned. We have more interviews coming to you, again, live from CommerceNext in New York, brought to you by Zilker Trail. You can find them at getzilker.com. So until the next interview, stay curious.